Breath of the Wild has many defining abilities. The paraglider is used to swiftly fall from a height. Tifa's Grace allows you to die and get revived. Raleigh's Gale allows you to use an updraft to get to a higher up area. But the most essential abilities are the runes. The two bombs let you explode obstacles and enemies. Magnesis allows you to move metal objects. Stasis can stop an object or enemy in its place and send it in a different direction. And Cryonis lets you place an ice block on water to get across waterways or lift up gates. These 5 runes are the basis to complete puzzles in shrines, dungeons, and Koroks. With how important they are, can you even beat the game without them? Surprisingly, yes, and here's how. First off, to beat Breath of the Wild, there are 2 things you must do. 1. Obtain the paraglider, and 2. Defeat Dark Beast Ganon. To complete the Great Plateau, you must obtain 4 spirit orbs from the 4 shrines. Unfortunately, each shrine gives you a rune that you must get, but obviously we won't use in this run. Reaching Dark Beast requires you to defeat the FIREBLIGHT and CALAMITY Ganon. To fight the bosses, the quickest way to get good weapons to kill them is conveniently in Hyrule Castle, where the fights are. With these requirements, we have some complications, but let's start with what is possible already. Any intended movement throughout the overworld can be traversed without any runes whatsoever. Windblight doesn't have any rune-specific attack, and it's skipped anyways. And Dark Beast doesn't require any runes, just the Bow of Light. Now we are left with 4 shrines, 3 blights, and Calamity. The Bomb Shrine requires you to blow up bombs to break stone blocks 4 times. The Magnesis Shrine has 3 metal obstacles. The Stasis Shrine also has 3 rune uses. In the Cryonis Shrine, you need to place ice blocks to raise Link or objects 3 times. WATERBLIGHT has an attack that sends Cryonis blocks towards Link in the second phase. FIREBLIGHT in the second phase has a shield that can only be broken by an explosion. You have to electrocute THUNDERBLIGHT with a metal bar in that second phase. And CALAMITY Ganon has both the WATERBLIGHT Cryonis blocks and the THUNDERBLIGHT metal bar attacks, leaving us with 18 rune uses to complete the game. The bosses were the quickest to have runes removed, as most of them are runeless in a normal any percent run. Unlike traditional Zelda games, Breath of the Wild does not require you to use a specific item to kill a boss. The only thing that matters in boss fights are the damage you do to the boss. WATERBLIGHT's Cryonis attack can be easily avoided by just shooting at it with the Royal Guard's bow. THUNDERBLIGHT's metal bar attack can be dodged by throwing the Lysel Tri-Boomerang at its shield and shooting an arrow to stun it. CALAMITY Ganon has a multitude of attacks that can be used. By sheer RNG, or just by doing damage, it's possible to avoid the Cryonis and Magnesis attacks. This makes 4 rune uses completely unnecessary. FIREBLIGHT is the last boss to still have a rune use. Unlike the other bosses, there is no way to damage FIREBLIGHT's second phase unless you use a rune. FIREBLIGHT uses a shield similar to Daruk's protection that does not let anything damage it. The only way to destroy it is by a bomb. It is known that you can get rid of the shield using Urbosa's Fury, but that would require doing the entire Bonoboris part of the game. You would sneak into Gerudo Town, kill Koga, enter Naboris, activate all 5 terminals, and finally kill THUNDERBLIGHT. There are still a few other options though. You can use Amiibo to spawn in a bomb barrel and throw that into FIREBLIGHT's shield, but Amiibo is a rune, so that would just replace one rune for another. It turns out that the solution is very simple. Just use a bomb arrow. Normally, you're expected to fight FIREBLIGHT in Vah Rudania, which is situated inside Death Mountain. This means if you pull out a bomb arrow, Link will instantly be exploded due to extremely hot conditions there, so no one would try to shoot a bomb arrow there because they would take a lot of damage or die. But we're fighting FIREBLIGHT in Hyrule Castle, meaning bomb arrows won't instantly blow up there, so we can destroy the shield from a distance. Already, all that are left are the 13 runes used in the 4 shrines on the Great Plateau. Some of these have very simple solutions, although others get very, very complicated. We'll start with the Stasis Shrine. The obstacles where we need to use Stasis are a moving platform, a rolling boulder, and a stationary boulder. For the first one, you're supposed to freeze the cog when the moving platform can be walked across. This can be skipped by waiting for a certain part of the cycle, jumping, then shield surfing to make it all the way to the platform. The rolling boulder is supposed to be stopped so that Link can pass by without getting hit. This can also be skipped by waiting on the cycle and running up the ramp just as the boulder passes Link. The cycle for the moving platform and the rolling boulder coincide, so if you get the moving platform cycle, you can just run up the ramp without worrying about the moving boulder. Now, the stationary boulder is the only thing left in our path. The intended method of getting past it is to use stasis and strike it with the weapon multiple times to send it in another direction. This can be skipped by doing a very precise jump in Shield Surf called Swiffy Jump, similar to the one used earlier in the shrine. This removes 3 more rune uses. The last simple shrine is the Bomb Shrine. There are stone blocks scattered throughout the shrine, which poses obstacles that are meant to be cleared by using the 2 bomb runes. The game teaches you that the circle bomb rolls while the square bomb stays in place, but this doesn't matter when you can't use the runes. Well, remember the issue with FIREBLIGHT? You were supposed to use a bomb to explode the shield, but we were able to use a bomb arrow to destroy it instead. Luckily, these stone blocks can be broken with bomb arrows too. The problem with this is conveniency. There are only 3 chests containing bomb arrows on the Great Plateau. One is on the very edge of the Great Plateau, one is hidden behind some wooden walls, and one is a DLC chest all the way near the Corona Shrine. The issue with these chests is that they are all very far from the bomb shrine. Thankfully, exploding stone blocks is not the only way of breaking them. There's a class of weapons that the game never mentions but still exists. The mining weapons. Iron Sledgehammer, Drill Shaft, Cobble Crusher, Stone Smasher, and Boulder Breaker. These 5 weapons have a special property that makes them able to destroy stone blocks that seemingly only an explosion could break. Out of these 5, only the Iron Sledgehammer is on the Great Plateau. There's one right outside the Stasis Shrine and one inside the Stasis Shrine, so this works out perfectly. Now we can just run around inside the bomb shrines, slapping away at the stone blocks. 6 rune uses are left. So far, every solution has been pretty straightforward. Now we are posed with 2 seemingly impossible shrines. The Magnesis Shrine has a metal slab covering a hole in the ground, a metal box used to break down a wall, and a metal door that leads to the monk at the end. The only simple solution would be to get enough height to get over the metal bars at the beginning and to go above the metal door at the end. The Corona Shrine has a similar problem. You need to get to a higher platform, raise a gate, and raise a stone slab to create a slope. All these can also be skipped by getting enough height to reach the monk from the start. So what are the current methods of gaining height in this game? There are a plethora of ways to gain height in this game. Issue is that most of these use runes like wind bombs, BLSS, stasis launches, flying machines. You get the point. We can actually replace the 3 Cryonis uses with a wind bomb, which removes a rune use, but we want to have 0 runes used. Narrowing height glitches down to ones that don't use runes makes this much more complicated. The most useful one is the moon jump glitch. Moon jump tricks the game into thinking Link is always grounded, which allows him to infinitely jump. This is the perfect glitch. It can bypass the height needed to go over both the obstacles in the Magnesis Shrine and the Corona Shrine, thus making the number of rune uses 0 and solving the whole run, right? Not exactly. One thing I didn't mention was how to perform moon jump. You need a horse and to go to the archery minigame, both of which are impossible to do before completing the Great Plateau. While the trick works, there's currently no way of setting it up while still on the Great Plateau. Although, the glitch persists through saves, so you can transfer it onto a file that's on the Great Plateau. But glitches that persist through saves are not allowed, further making this invalid. In the older Great Plateau route used in speedruns, there was a very hard trick used only by top runners. This trick was the cryo wall jump. It uses a glitch known as a fall damage cancel that does exactly what the name implies, but it also temporarily makes Link grounded. If you perform a fall damage against a wall and jump at the right time, you can get a boost called a wall jump. From that jump, you can shield surf and unequip your shield to get enough height to get over the bars. This trick skips the first and second cryo blocks in the shrine and uses only the one at the end to get to the monk. There's a reason this trick was only used by top runners. It's very hard. The angle needed is very precise, and the timings on all the inputs are very tight. Interestingly enough, this trick can actually be used to skip the last cryo block too, if you have a boomerang. Boomerangs can be thrown very quickly, so you can do multiple fall damage cancels in quick succession. If you're fast enough, you can infinitely gain height against a wall. With how hard it is to do one wall jump at the Corona Shrine, it's clear that doing multiple back-to-back is beyond difficult. Luckily or unluckily, depending on how you perceive this, doing the infinite wall jumps is not even possible on the Great Plateau. There are no boomerangs available on the Great Plateau, so this is out of the picture. It turns out there is a much simpler solution, but it's not easy in the slightest. After doing the first wall jump, we are right where the last cryo block needs to be placed. You're supposed to have the cryo block create a ramp, but just by standing on a slab, Link can create a slight slope. We can keep this slant by having a heavy weapon holding down the ramp. This is just barely slanted enough to give Link sufficient height to get up to the stairs if he wall jumps. This wall jump is even more precise than the first one. Not only do you have to worry about the perfect angle and timings, but you have to deal with the stone slab constantly moving, making it nearly impossible to wall jump high enough. And the Guardian Scout shoots lasers that interrupt the wall jump, but at least all the rune uses in the Corona Shrine are able to be skipped, even if the strats to do so are extremely difficult. Finally, we are stuck with the 3 rune uses in the Magnesis Shrine. We've already established that we can't wall jump over everything, or moon jump due to the same reasons for the Corona Shrine. The shrine is also built very differently, so we can't just do a wind bomb to the end to skip one of the runes. This has to be it. All methods of getting around the obstacles won't work. Going over the obstacles is clearly impossible, but that's when the solution became clear. The issue was that we couldn't go through the walls to get to the monk, so we thought to go over. But that's not entirely true. Obviously the game doesn't have a mechanic that lets Link clip out of bounds, but But that doesn't mean there aren't glitches that exist that can do that. Introducing the shield clip, and completely ignoring every other variant for now. When Link's shield surfs on a surface, he gets a glitch known as skew. The steeper the surface, the stronger the skew. By shield surfing and unequipping the shield at the right angle and with the right skew, Link can clip through walls. The direction the slope goes has to coincide with the direction you want to clip as well. Looking at the section of the Magnesis Shrine we have access to, it's clear that there are very few slopes. There's the pedestal, in front of the elevator, and on each peg surrounding the elevator. The issue with these slopes is that they're either facing the wrong direction, or the slopes are too gentle. Luckily, you can get skew and clip out of bounds here, but it's not how you'd expect. Throughout Breath of the Wild, there are 120 shrines, with each having their own puzzles to solve and challenges to overcome. Some may seem similar, but there is a certain type that is recognizable right after exiting the elevator. The Test of Strength. These shrines are a large arena where you are forced to fight a Guardian in order to complete the shrine. In speedruns, runners do a wind bomb to skip fighting Guardian, and clip through the wall to get past the closed gate. Fortunately for us, both the Magnesis Shrine and the Test of Strength shrines have a ledge in which we can get a good skew on. By doing a slightly different setup in the Magnesis Shrine, we can clip through the wall all the way on the right, do some out of bounds movement, and clip back in bounds. This skips both the first and second Magnesis uses, leaving only the metal door at the end of the shrine that needs to be skipped. So we can clip through that wall like we did the previous one, right? Sadly not, because this wall is facing a different direction, so Link won't clip through. But we can clip into a part of the wall that is facing the same direction to get inside the wall. This may seem dumb because the direction we need to clip out won't work with this skew, but there's a solution. When I first mentioned shield clips, I said they were variants. Here's where that comes into play. There's a specific type of shield clip called the Instant Shield Pull Clip, or ISPC. This shield clip works the same way as a normal one, but is done very differently. You have to jump at the wall you want to go through, turn Link perpendicular to the wall, shield surf, buffer to a certain frame and unequip the shield, and continue to shield surf and unequipping the shield until Link is through the wall. That sounds very complicated, and it is, but since this is roomless, it's even more complicated. In this case, you're practically doing all the inputs blind. Since Link is inside the wall, the camera makes it hard to see anything, so doing a frame-perfect trick is very hard. Alternatively, there's a normal shield clip that uses the same principle as the first one. The first one got skew on a ledge, and this one gets skew on a different ledge. Well, the first one was simple enough, so this one should be simple too. But of course, it isn't. You have to jump and shield surf at a very precise time so that the shield falls a bit off the edge and Link picks himself up. If you're too early, the shield surf will go too far. And if you're too late, you will miss the ledge and fall down. And to get back up, you have to do the amazing trick, the wall jump. But once you have the skew, you need to do a very precise setup to clip into the wall. From there, you must do another precise setup to get back in bounds. While both this and the ISPC are terrible strats, doing one of them can skip the final rune use, making the number of runes needed to beat The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 0. As always, speedrunning tricks have completely broken a game. If only there was more to do without using runes. Thank you for watching. See ya.